everybody, welcome back to the Bullhucker podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
And I'm Matt Gordon.
Where are we, Matt?
We're at the Brush Emporium in downtown Brush.
Downtown Brush.
They
Brush
laid
Emporium.
bricks for us.
They did lay bricks for us, actually. Last week we had Madeline on.
Last week,
That's
last
right.
time we saw Madeline.
We've not seen Madeline for a
so
solid
long
week.
ago.
A solid week.
I have no idea what she's been up to since the last time we talked.
She might have skipped town for all we know.
No, she said she was going to do that. She's like, I'm running out of town. I'm getting out of here. I got to go sell holistic home and health things and hot sauce. That's what she said verbatim. I remember.
Emphasis on the hot sauce.
I want the hot sauce so bad.
Just
but we
a
haven't
tip.
seen her in a week, so it's really hard to get.
Just a tip.
This is such a. I love this running joke for every episode I'm on. Yes, we haven't seen her in a week. A whole week. Although just the tip hot sauce is excellent. I want to plug all the other things she does because the hot sauce isn't the only thing. It's just a great thing, and all the other things are great too. So it's like we have another guest on today. Her name's whatever.
I am whatever.
Megan Orcutt, how are you?
I am doing all right. How are you guys?
Doing very well.
You and I'll have a conversation. Is that okay? And this guy right here.
What are we
I
doing?
accept it.
Megan Orcutt, I'm excited to have you on here. One of the first people I asked to do the podcast was your husband, Matt Orcutt,
Yes.
who's a massive puss because he is not doing it. Oh,
Obviously. I'm here to show him up.
well,
Matt, I think you're cool, dog. Don't worry about it.
you don't know him. He
I don't
doesn't
need to know
you.
him.
You
I
don't
know
get to
Matt.
have an opinion.
Matt's no Matts.
Oh,
We're connected.
that's right. There's a lot of Matts in his life, actually.
Yep. On the ground. Sometimes in the shower.
I only see him from the waist down. Yeah, I know how that sounds. From the waist down.
Right after I talked about the shower.
He's,
All right.
he's a mechanic, so he's always under a truck. Every time I walk
That's
by,
true.
he's always under a truck.
Did you know Larry's ass is nicknamed the truck?
That's true. Matt Orcutt and I are lovers. Comes out now. It's awkward.
It's about time.
We're gonna. I need a salve.
Finally.
I was going to say.
I need a salve.
It's
Madeline,
okay.
we're
I
gonna
know
need salve.
someone.
I'm gonna. That's a
somebody.
callback. Do you see that callback right there? He did that callback a whole week after we saw her. How crazy!
Okay, can we get going? You homophobe?
Sure,
Is that right?
Whoa!
So
whoa,
judgy.
So
whoa.
edgy, right?
Wow! I
God,
can't believe you said that.
Such a hater, you know.
All right, well, listen to our professional podcast thingy.
I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm
So
not gonna.
professional.
I'm not gonna go to anything in the park anymore either. Buying hot sauce and peanuts or whatever the hell you sell down there.
so good, dude.
Oh
you have
my
no
God.
idea.
I'm gonna get a hold of her and see if I can just have some delivered. I'm not going to
You
do a park
probably
thing. I
could.
refuse to
He can
support
figure
you.
out Etsy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Megan, you are in cahoots with Madeline Hagen on the
In
holistic
cahoots.
fair that's coming here next week on February 18th.
I am in cahoots with her for this. Yes.
Awesome.
How long have you guys been doing this together?
Not very long. We actually met at Bobstock.
Really?
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. She bought a couple of my journals, and then we just kind of started working from there.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was kind of exciting. I don't
Were you-
usually take people home from fairs, but
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, you know. Apparently, your husband's humping some fat guy at work.
it's only
We-
fair is fair, right?
Yeah, fair is fair. We just all found out. It's weird. So,
This is great. I love this. Thank you for being here.
Anytime.
were you into holistic stuff before you met Madeline, or is it just kind of open your eyes to it?
Yes, I'm more in like a magical side of everything.
Okay.
So I've always done like more of like I do the tarot and like a lot of divinations. I do tarot. I read runes like the old Vikings runes.
Right.
You know, like that kind of thing. Nordic. All of Europe really has runes everywhere, but
Nice.
most people associate it to the Vikings.
Okay.
And then I do pendulum readings with the crystals, that kind of thing. So
Interesting.
yeah, I kind of hopped in because I decided to make my own grimoire, which is like a spell book, basically.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out how to bookbind, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try selling these and see if I can make some money here.
So, okay, here's maybe an ignorant question. You said make
Yeah.
your own. So, what does that mean? I mean, I guess I don't know what that means.
That's all right. So I literally make the book like from scratch.
Okay.
So like I get all the paper, sew all the paper together, and then make the book covers, and then put it into the book covers using like gaff tape from like theater.
Okay.
You know,
That's cool.
type of tape.
Do you put spells in there for them to use, or those are just yours to use?
I'm working on that one right now. So I sell them
Intriguing.
blank right now to
Okay.
people. So like some will have like aged paper,
Yeah.
and then like I fold little papers so they have pockets in it, so you can just like shove shit in your notebook.
Nice.
And then because I've always just been like, you know, you put something in your notebook and it falls out when you're walking.
Oh, yeah.
So now we have pockets in our notebooks.
Pockets this.
Yes. And then
pocketbook.
a literal pocketbook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
good.
Yeah. So then eventually I'm going to actually sell things that have like writing in it. Like I'm working on a mead making book to teach people how to make mead because we love making mead in my house.
I've heard.
It's The first two were awful, but we have mastered it since then. I think we made like a cleaner. Like I think we could really compete with Lysol at this point.
Really?
Once we mastered that, the rest has been pretty delicious.
I'm so excited about this. I love mead making. You wouldn't know this about me right away, but I am crazy steeped in Ren Fair, and I just go absolutely nuts for it. And I work with all sorts of those people to make some cool stuff.
Our favorite thing is Ren Fair. We do a Ren Fair in Kansas every year. Actually, we've been there since the first year it started.
That
it's
is
called the
incredible.
Silver Sage Renaissance
I've heard
Festival.
of it, yeah.
It is the best, like the best. Last year there was a guy that was like legit Odin walking around with like an eye patch and a walking stick. He was my favorite human.
Better than the Larkspur one.
Yes.
Wow.
I love Larkspur, but
That's like
this one
my-
was just a better, like, it had a better, like, community kind of vibe. There's
Okay, I
literally,
could
like, a
dig that.
chunk of Vikings that actually, like, camp there the whole night.
Wow.
And they, like, have, like, a little built, like, Viking village that you can look at with little, like, things to show, like, what
What?
Iceland, like, used to look like and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's, like, just, it's a really cool experience. And there's a guy named Red the Mercenary. You pay him $1 and he'll insult anyone you point at.
I love that. All right, hold up. I got to
He
talk
made
about
a
Ren
ton
Fair
of money.
for the next hour.
Hold on a second. Look, before we do that, welcome to the Bullhucker podcast.
Welcome to the Ren Fair podcast with Matt.
If you're new to the
Larry's not here.
podcast, what
Yeah,
we do is we
featuring
bring on a
bloggers.
guest. If you're new to the podcast, what we do is bring on a guest. Today's Megan Orcutt. What she's going to do is tell us 3 stories about her life. Now, here's the kicker. Only 2 of these stories are true. One's actually borrowed, made up, or partially made up. Now, Megan, don't go into great detail, but your Bullhucker, is it borrowed, is it made up, or partially made up?
It's only a light facade.
Okay, so it's partially made up.
Oh.
Yep.
All right.
Light facade. I've never heard it described that way.
Behind the facade of this innocent-looking bookstore.
Ren Fair bookstore.
Right. So, okay, now we can go back into your
Yeah, can we
nerdum.
shut up about your podcast for a second? So I want to talk about the Ren Fair. When does it happen in Kansas?
It's in June. I think this year it is the 10th and 11th. Whatever is the weekend days. My birthday's the 10th in June, so I know it's that day, and then it's one of the days that's
It's only one
associated with
weekend?
it. Yep.
I might be making a trip
Yeah.
because I'm down to explore Ren Fairs. I've been to many, so I'm like, I'm all
yeah.
about it.
It's fantastic. The first one was a nightmare. That should have been one of my stories, but the last ones are better.
Well, you can come back and tell those because I want to hear more about
Oh,
this
that's
on
a
the
good
Ren
one.
Fair edition of the Bullhucker
Yep.
podcast.
Yeah, we'll do a whole Ren Fair edition. I have many stories.
You can take Matt with you, but I warn you, it's like radiation. He's only good in small doses. You know?
We'll just keep him in the trunk.
That's exactly good. That's right.
That's where we
It's
put
like,
people.
everybody, well, I'm just saying, we don't king shame here, and so you guys should be mad where I like to be placed, okay?
Put in the dead hooker pocket. That's what we call it. So in
Yes.
the trunk. Something. Yeah. Okay.
That's 2 days in a row. Larry's had hookers on his brain the last couple days. You talked about it
Hookers.
last night, too.
Hookers on my mind.
The record is coming soon, right?
Yeah, oh,
we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see. The broken hooker record. So, Megan, are you ready to tell some stories?
This is great.
I think so.
All right. We got 3 great ones. Matt, you want to read them off?
I always love to read these off.
And we are going to talk more about the February 18th holistic fair. So we'll do that right after the stories. Cool.
That works.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about the Ren Fair, too.
Yes. Sir.
We have Call of Duty Snake Ops, Cabin Ghost, and Flushed in Sync.
So there's a ghost story. I like it. You have the Call of Duty, which you got a little wood on it. It was weird. You got like aroused. I didn't like it.
It's like Ren Fairs, man. They do it for me. And being shoved in trunks.
We don't kink shame though, right?
We don't king shame on
I
the
never
Bullhucker
heard that
podcast.
until I met Matt. And he said kink shame.
Yeah, we don't kink shame here.
I almost said
Everybody's
genius.
accepted here.
Everybody's
Everybody's
accepted here.
accepted.
All right, you picked last time. So do I get to pick this time?
Nope.
Okay, pick one up.
Awesome. The one you probably want to hear, Cabin Ghost, is my guess. I'm not going to pick Call of Duty because you made fun of me and I'm offended. What I would rather hear is Flushed in Sync.
I like it.
All right. So this is like a early teenage story that had happened to me. So as a teenager, this was like probably late 90s because NSYNC is involved. So,
Right.
pre-Justin Timberlake era when he was just a wee 6-foot guy with ramen hair.
Ramen noodle hair. It's
Yep.
gonna be May.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I had to go to their concert, obviously, because I'm a teenage girl, and that's what we did.
Yes.
So
Right.
there was me and then 2 other friends. Actually can't remember which ones went with me, which is awful. So they're probably never going to talk to me again.
Megan.
But
What's up, 2 mystery friends?
Yeah, 2 mystery
Yeah,
friends.
the
Yep.
unnamed.
Not
Yep.
going to the Ren Fair.
I can't. Well, so I went to a couple NSYNC concerts in my childhood because I was a loser. So I know some of the people that went. I can't place which concert they were at with me.
I see.
Nice.
But there was 2 of my friends. So my mom is going to drop us off because this is pre-license, right?
Right.
So she goes to drop us off. She borrows my grandma's car because she has to pick my grandma up from the airport.
What kind of car are we talking?
It was like a Suzuki Sidekick. Yeah, so like...
Hey, high school Larry would have been super jealous of
Yeah.
that. But go ahead.
So she drives us there. She drops us off. It's at Mile High Stadium, like before it got really shitty, like when it was
Yeah.
like the cool version.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mile High Stadium, she drops us off. We go in there and we're like, this is so great. And we have our posters with all the glitter on them that you can't actually put up because no one can see if you do.
Right.
But we spent hours on it anyway. So we go in, we do our thing. It's been a fantastic concert. We had lots of fun. We went back out to wait for my mom, and she's not there. So we're like, well, okay, this isn't good. Like, this is the middle of the night. We're in Denver, and we don't know what to do because we're young and stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
So then I have, like, the little brick phone, like a Nokia, like before they were cool and flippy. It was
Right,
just
right.
like, and you have, like, limited minutes.
And the antenna was like super stiff. You could stab somebody with.
Yeah.
I got.
So I'm trying to get a hold of her. I don't get a hold of her. Finally, we see a Camaro pull up, which is not what she's supposed to be in. And it's like, I look in there and it's my Uncle PJ driving, and my grandma is in the passenger seat with her luggage, and then my mom is in the back seat. So, I mean, it's like, a late 80s Camaro, like
Right.
Z28.
There's no backseat.
Where are we going, right?
Yeah.
Like, how are me and my friends going to go, like, get in there? So we're like, what is happening? Like, we can't fit in there. What are we going to do? And my mom was like, okay. So I went to pick up your grandma. I went to the bathroom while I was in the airport. She didn't know that they had transitioned over to, like, the automatic flushing toilets, right? So she goes to go to the bathroom. She goes to, like, squat, drop the pants. The keys fall out.
Oh, God.
They hit the toilet. She turns around and it flushes. And it was like like before they figured out that they didn't need the toilets to, like, suck the entire bathroom in. So, like, they were
Yeah.
super aggressive.
Right.
And she was like, they were just gone.
I like how she says super aggressive, like the toilet had some kind of tattered childhood where it was abused.
Yes.
They were terrifying. Like, I know when I sat on them, I always thought it was going to, like, eat me when I was a kid.
Right.
So she had to go.
That's awesome.
She had to go meet my grandma and explain to her that, like, she was here to pick her up, but
In a Camaro.
they couldn't leave in the Sidekick. They hadn't even called my uncle yet because she had to meet her at the door to, like, make sure she didn't get lost. So she's like, yeah.
Right.
So I flushed your car keys.
Oh no.
We have like 30 minutes to go get the grandkid and her friends, and we don't have a vehicle anymore. And she was like, oh my God, the only way you can get those is through the dealership, because it was, like, new at the time.
Sure. Oh no.
So they use a payphone, because 90s. And they call my uncle. He is at a baseball game for his work, so he has to forfeit the game. His whole team loses.
Oh no.
And then he has to drive from, they were at, like, Ruby Park, so that's, like, I think it was, like, 30, 40 minutes from the airport.
Oh,
So he, like,
geez.
drives as fast as possible, which was pretty fast. He got there quick. And picks them up, and then they come get us. So then we have to squish into the back. So my grandma's, like, sitting in the front seat. All of her luggage is sitting on her lap, so she's just like,
Yeah.
this is great. And then we all pile in the back. So it's me, my friend, and then my mom was next to us. We're like the three. And then we put the poor kid, the boy was the smallest actually of all of us. So we made him lay on top of our laps and
Oh.
then, like, put our arms over him and hunkered him down while we, like, drove down the road to get back home.
If you're in a head-on collision, that's gonna work.
It's totally fine.
yeah, it's
He would
fine.
probably be the only one that lived, if we're
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then we get home, and then, like, the worst part was then everyone had to call their parents to get rides home because we could no longer give them rides home because PJ was like, I did my best. I got you guys to safety. Like, you guys made me forfeit my baseball game. So, like, you all can fuck off for, like, a good week or two. Yeah.
PJ sounds like a good uncle, though. I mean,
Yeah, respect PJ. That's a man who can set boundaries.
You want to know why? Because he had to tell the people that they're forfeiting
Yeah.
the game because somebody flushed their keys down the toilet. That's
Yes.
an aggressively pissed off toilet. Right?
It's the toilet's fault. It shouldn't have been so
Aggressively
angry.
pissed off toilet.
Yeah.
I know exactly the sound you're describing too. Where
It was
they come at
horrifying.
you quick. You feel like you get sucked down for a second and then come back up.
In first time I went to Vegas, the hotel room I had a toilet like that. When it flushed, man.
flushed,
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You got rid of some shit in Vegas. You know, just don't blame me.
Well,
They were prepared. They knew who was
I was
coming.
gonna say
yeah.
the truck's backing up today.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man.
Dropping the load.
Yeah.
Beep, coming on in.
When I saw it, I was impressed. I was like, ooh, 'cause that's how sorry I am. I was like, excellent plumbing, by the way. Can't tell you anything else. Any
Okay.
other?
how amazing it is that Americans are impressed by toilets that flush well and not like a bidet that can clean you better?
I just thought it was powerful, man. Not aggressively powerful, just powerful. So
Bidets are cool too, though.
right.
Although they scare me.
They scare you. What?
Yeah.
What about them?
I think Cars 2, where it attacks
Oh my
Mater.
you think what?
The movie Cars 2.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Okay, I didn't know.
I in a million years, I never would have. To anybody else in this world, if I would have brought up bidets, I never thought they would bring up Cars 2 in relation to it. That's
You
incredible.
lost me with that reference. I was like,
Yeah.
It's a movie for kids
yes.
Yeah.
with cars.
Although I did see the first Cars movie on my 21st birthday because that's, what I do. I'm a full person.
See?
It's the second one, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It
what
was
the
second
2 was
one.
for.
Okay,
Yeah.
just so we're clarifying.
I just want to make
Smart
sure
ass.
Cars
They're
2
numerical.
It's an aggressively flushing type movie. You know?
All right, fair enough. So, what do you think about that one, Matt?
Larry is so mad at me.
I'm not mad at you.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to fucking kill this
I
guy.
pity you.
Yeah.
All right.
Not with the
Well,
cameras on.
What did I think of this one? I think I respect Larry and I care about his friendship. That's what matters to me the most.
You didn't call her a liar. That's nice. You called Megan a liar. Madeline a liar.
You don't even know their names.
You called Madeline.
It's because we talked to her last week. It's
That's
been so
last
long.
week. We haven't seen her in a week.
It's been so long.
I hope she's gotten over it, you prick.
She's like, who even is that guy? Flesh in sync. No, I'm pretty sure she's a big fat liar. So I think that, yeah. She did say at the beginning that it was a light facade. I couldn't think of a lighter facade than keys flushing.
What part of that don't you think is true?
What
key flushing? The actual key flushing?
No. The keys got flushed. the keys definitely got flushed. Those keys are gone. That's a good story. I would say maybe PJ forfeiting his game and picking them up in a Camaro seems a little odd.
Uncle Ed worked for a sewage company, Metro, in Denver for years. And you get to see all the stuff that gets flushed all the time,
yeah.
like money. He says you wouldn't believe the money that gets flushed,
Oh, my
right?
God.
And some of those guys pull it out and keep it, right? I mean, whatever.
Hell yeah.
There's some guy who pulled those
Bleach.
keys out to a brand new Suzuki Samurai like he won it on the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just walking through parking
He's
lots.
just hitting the button.
Trying to beep it. Yeah.
It's got to be here.
Trying to smell his shit
Get
covered
from the
hand.
gods.
That is awesome. Larry, what do you think of the story?
You know what? I'd hear a second one, but I think that's true.
Oh, okay.
A lot of detail. So no, I'm a detail guy, so I think it's true. All right. Ready for another one?
Sure.
You know what? I am going to do something out of the kindness of my heart and
Oh,
leave
whoa.
yours till the end.
Really?
Yes.
Thanks, man.
Yes. Although you've been mean to me this whole time.
I
It's
don't
a
need
romantic
you.
gesture.
I love this man.
I secretly hate you, but I need you, so I tolerate you. That's how we. Okay.
That's love.
Aw, necessity.
Yes.
All right. Let's hear Cabin Ghost.
Awesome.
All right, cabin ghost. This is actually one of my favorite experiences. So, I've had a lot of weird ghost shenanigans occur in my life. I mean, like, just from childhood all the way up to now, my house is a little weird. But I think maybe that's normal in Fort Morgan. Anyways,
Yes.
so the cabin is in Pine. So it's like, I don't know if anyone knows where Pine is, but it's like up in the mountains. Obviously, it's a cabin, but it's like deep in the mountains, like right before Victor. It's like
Like
I do know where that is. Yeah.
like that deep.
it's like where nobody else was.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah, except for there's a couple other houses, and it was like this happened right at the beginning of this huge development coming in. It's not really alone anymore.
Okay.
Right now, someone has actually built like a driveway through the front of our property.
Oh wow.
So like getting to the cabin, I don't even know how to do it anymore. But back then it was like kind of alone, and then like there's like this cemetery over here, which is kind of cool because there's like a little sunroom, and it had like this mosquito netting around it, and then you could go in there and like kind of see the graveyard, which was I just always thought was cool as a kid.
Yeah.
And then there's like this little typewriter that's like back from when the cabin was built, like in the early 1800s. So it's a super cool place, but it's like not. You shouldn't stay there. It's not like insulated or like safe in any manner. So Matt and I were like, we should go there. So we cruise up there in our Buick, which also isn't like the best thing to take up a dirt road into the mountains. It's like a 70 Buick Skylark, like an old A body.
Yeah.
But you're with
We have
mechanics,
two.
so you're okay.
So, you can lose one.
That's-
And I brought my mechanic. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what you do, right?
Yeah.
You bring your mechanic, all the tools. I'm sure we were prepared. But, because we did a lot of spontaneous trips. We would go to, like, Nebraska spontaneously, Wyoming spontaneously. That would be a good story for each one, too. The Wyoming trip was weird. Anyway, I digress. So, we go to this cabin, we park it, we go inside. We're like, oh, man, it's super cool. Like, none of the lights work. So we light a bunch of candles, And then there's like 2 little lanterns that we light, and we pull out Monopoly because we're cool people. So we're playing Monopoly in this
Right.
cabin in the middle of the night, you know, drinking, having fun. It's a good time.
Right.
And he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. Where's the bathroom? And then I had to break the news that there's only like an outhouse because my family wasn't like planning to keep the cabin.
Right.
There's actually a huge thing where everyone's trying to decide who gets to keep the cabin to sell it. So everyone's kind of fighting over it, but most people who were fighting are now deceased. So now it's like nobody actually knows who owns it.
Interesting.
One person's name is misspelled on the whole like who gets to keep it. So then like it's just in this weird limbo place.
Right.
So he's like, all right, fine, I'm gonna go to the outhouse. So he like goes out to the outhouse, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to spook him. So then I'm like trying to figure out how I'm gonna sneak. I'm like hiding, and then I look over, and there's an actual ghost who's decided to like turn the tide on me. And it was like this basketball player looking guy. He was outlined in green, which I've never seen before. I've never had a colorful ghost in my life, which actually kind of just scared me more. So now as a full-grown adult who isn't afraid of ghosts, I'm like panicking. And I'm hoping that Matt comes in so that he can see it. And this dude just literally walks all the way across the cabin from the weird mosquito netting place and then goes out the wall.
I'm gonna stop you there. So, you said he's in green. What's normal? I mean, in your experience, what's normal?
In mine, they just looked like people, like normal coloring,
Okay.
normal.
So he had a green glow about him, and that's okay.
The outline. It was like if you had drawn him on a piece of paper, and instead of using black Sharpie, you decided to go like comic book green.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
So like his uniform was outlined in green, the number was outlined in green. He was the number 23. It stuck because I like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but then he goes, and then like the second he went out, I like started shaking. I panicked and I ran out and I broke in the outhouse, which was really gross because
Right.
it already smells and then Matt's in there doing his
Right.
business.
Right.
I was like, there's a ghost in there. And he was like, of course there's a ghost in there. There's like a graveyard right there. Like, are you an
It's
idiot?
a natural progression, obviously. Yes.
He's like,
Yeah. He was like, he probably came from there. And I was like, that's not quite how that works, but sure. Yeah. Okay.
Dude trying to sell me Amway. Of course
Yeah.
he's here.
I
I
was
talked
like-
to him. He's here. Yeah.
He's here, yeah. I was like, we gotta go. We gotta go home. We gotta get out of here. And he was like, we can't. We've been like, drinking. We're stuck here.
Yeah.
Sucks for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we went back in and I did not sleep.
The jersey or anything like that, was the jersey green or was it a different color under the green
See
hue?
through. Like this guy was literally, I could see everything behind him. And then all that really stuck was that there was a green outline. Like he was drawn like an outline. And then he just had like a misty thing around him, but basically I could literally see like the wood logs through him.
Huh. And Matt's not freaked out because this is normal for him too. Yes.
Kind of now, but he's kind of freaked out by ghosts. Like he doesn't like that they're there, but he accepts that they're there, and he's willing to just like, well, it's gone now.
So he's got a haunted car.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
The Cutlass.
Yes, because he told me this. Yeah, it's somebody died in the car. I can't remember the story
The
exactly.
owner died, and his wife died also, and they were both so attached to the car they just stuck with it.
Right. Yes, and he was telling me this at work one day, and
Yeah.
because it's a lot of weird stuff happens with this Cutlass, right? Like just crazy
Yeah.
shit happens with this Cutlass.
I wanna see this car.
The guy has a very specific idea of how it should turn out, and he makes sure that Matt knows that.
Yeah.
And then we researched it and figured out that everything matched up, like all of what he was experiencing.
Yeah.
I took all the paperwork out of the glove box and I like researched it and figured out who they were, and he was like, "That's them."
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's from the Springs. So a couple from the Springs haunts his car.
Interesting.
How big is the graveyard by this cabin?
It's like a small graveyard comparatively to like a city graveyard.
Like about like the size of like a brush graveyard.
I haven't seen the brush graveyard.
Okay, Fort Morgan.
You know, like the new part of the Fort Morgan one, where
Yeah.
it's like all the new stuff, not the old dead people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
The
about the
new
size
dead
of the new
people.
dead
The new
people.
dead.
Okay, yeah.
We call them the new deads.
Yeah, I don't think they add people to this graveyard anymore. It's like really old. I mean,
Okay.
like when I was a
Interesting.
kid and I went there, everyone was like, "Oh, the old graveyard."
That'd be interesting though.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go there and visit and like. you
Are
know.
there modern headstones or no? Is it all old school? Like
I've never seen a modern one there. No.
really. So
I think Pine has a different graveyard that is like actually used, and I don't think this one's even really considered like that it's there anymore.
it's crazy.
How did you detect that it was potentially a basketball player?
Jersey.
The jersey.
So that's what I was asking about earlier. Is if you're seeing through it, the jersey itself was visible in some way. There was
Yeah,
a team.
The outlines.
Just the outlines, not like a
So-
logo or something like that.
No, I didn't see the logo. I just saw the back.
The outline, the number.
Yeah.
And okay, because I was thinking like Seattle Supersonics.
Could have been a rapper too. I mean, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
A cool kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It could have
right.
been a kid in the 90s wearing a lot of green lights.
We all did it, man.
Yeah. This was like early 2000s, so
Interesting.
could be anything.
Okay. Well, I was thinking, yeah.
It's like the only modern looking ghost I've ever seen too, which is kind of weird. Like usually I don't really get like a jersey
It's more
wearing
like
ghost. Like
a pocket watch or something like vest and old school vibe.
yeah,
No, I've
or
never
like
seen anything
or
like
like
that
nothing. Or like I don't really see like clothing that gives me like a timeline. I'm just
Right.
like this person.
It's funny. There's a comedian that has a bit about that. Chris Farley's brother, I believe, Kevin Farley, talking about how you never see new ghosts. Every time you see a ghost, it's like from the Civil War.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
stuff. You never see a ghost walking around in a suit with an iPad.
That's true.
You just never see it. So that's actually interesting that you actually did see one.
Yeah,
So,
and then I have that.
what do you think about that one, Matt?
That is also a massive lie. Ghosts don't wear jerseys, from what I understand.
What do they wear?
I don't know what they wear. No, I think what's interesting about this, more than anything, the idea of the graveyard being close by and then influencing some of what's going on. I mean, of course, I'm hearkening back to like Pet Cemetery kind of setup thing, but I wonder why in that cabin someone like that would just randomly appear. Like there's got to be like a connection or a basketball player who lived in the area or something like that. But I am inclined to say that one is also true, which is making me nervous about Call of Duty.
Okay. I actually have one in mind already.
Wait, let me. What do you think about it, Larry?
What do I think about it?
Yeah.
I think most of it's true. So
Most.
I think it can be true. We'll listen to Call of Duty first.
Okay.
I think I caught you on something. So
Uh-oh.
yeah. All right. We'll see.
We'll find out.
The thing I think I've caught her on, I will say right now, is something that I've learned to look for over 100 episodes. So it may turn out to be not true, but we'll see. We'll see what's going
His
on.
ass is the truck, but his mind is a human lie detector.
That's right. That's right.
I love that.
Yes.
I hope Orcutt stabs you when he sees you.
Right.
All right. One more, buddy.
This is the one I'm so excited to hear. And if it's a lie, I'm going to be seriously disappointed without even hearing the story. Call of Duty Snake Ops.
All right.
How many Call of Duties is into it?
There's like 25. Because if you count mobile games, iPad games,
How new is this one?
Snake Ops is not a game. It's just a name that she's using.
It's not real.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
okay.
instead of Black Ops.
Although
I got you. Okay.
I love living in a world where you think Call of Duty Snake Ops is a real game.
Why wouldn't it be?
Just a bunch of snakes.
I like that. Or like Gorgons instead of zombies. You could kill Gorgons.
Isn't the
I
guy's
I think
name
we can work
Snake?
it out.
That's from Metal Gear Solid, guy.
Okay. There was a snake. I don't know.
Like that. I haven't played any games since Atari.
It's true.
It's true.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love
All
this.
right.
All right.
So Snake Ops.
I play Madden. Okay.
I just love this world. I want to live in that world forever. Larry's like, all right, I can't wait to load up Snake Ops. Sorry, Larry. It's just so great.
I'm being nerd shamed. That's what
I'm
it
sorry,
is.
that's true. Good
I'm
point.
being nerd shamed
We don't
right
nerd
now.
I
shame
thought
on
we
the
didn't do
Bullhucker
that.
podcast. Yes.
Did you hear what he said? He said Snake Ops.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I want to hear your story so bad. But this is so fucking funny.
That's okay. You can take your time.
It's the image I have in my head is him with the controller, and there's like legitimately a snake like hissing and holding guns, wearing camo, slithering around different maps.
How
in
would
Call
that
of
make
Duty.
sense?
I don't Snake Ops, dude.
There's
I
a
don't
guy
know.
named Snake.
Metal Gear Solid. It's a different game.
It's a military game, though.
It sort of. It's more espionage in Metal Gear Solid than it is warfare.
How's that not military?
It is under the umbrella military. It's the same thing as saying emergency services. All police and firefighters are the same thing.
Yeah, well, they are. It's first responders.
Oh God, here we go. That doesn't even make sense. Police are different.
Call of Duty Snake Ops.
Call of Duty Snake Ops. All right. So this literally happened September 21st, which I know because we now call it Snake Day and have to listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
Because you have to remember the 21st of September. My brother got involved in this, so now it's a literally annual holiday in our family.
Okay.
So
I'm back. Sorry.
it's okay.
That was so good.
So I'm home alone because I've dropped Logan off at school. I dropped my brother off at school because he was a senior in high school. And Chase wasn't a real thing yet, so there's no toddler. So I'm just hanging out by myself. I go to let the dogs out, and then my pit bull freaks out and runs right back in the house. And I was like, what's in my sunroom? Like, because the way it works is they leave through the door that goes to our sunroom, and then there's a doggy door in the sunroom, so
Right.
that I don't have to, like, leave the house with them. So it won't leave, and I'm like, what is going on? So then I go out there, and then I hear, like, this, like, rattling sound.
Oh, no.
I know. And I look over, and there's a ginormous snake, like, hanging out in front of our, like, weird plug-in fireplace that came with the house that we just don't know what to do with yet. So it's out there.
Right.
And I was like, oh, my God, I don't know what to do. Because I have an epic fear of snakes. Like, an epic fear of snakes.
Oh, yeah.
My stepdad had a snake, and it used to sneak out of its cage thing. So, like, I slept every night knowing that, like, I just might wake up to a constrictor in my room.
Sure.
And I've never moved on from that.
Nope.
I just never, I can't. So
Right.
I panic, and I go inside, and I, like, lose my shit by myself for a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then my immediate decision is to try to scare it out of the sunroom.
Okay.
So we love Nerf in my house.
Awesome.
So I get my sniper Nerf rifle. And like we have like this like ammo box of Nerf bullets, and I go and I park in the doorway to the sunroom with all of my ammo, and I'm just like shooting towards it to like spook it to get it to leave.
You're not spooking it. You're just pissing it off, by the way. Just doing it.
I learned that.
I learned that.
It did try to leave, but
Right.
then it couldn't figure out how to use the hole it came in on.
Right.
Like it couldn't go back out the hole that it came in. It was just like, I don't understand this hole anymore. So it's just going around my sunroom, like freaking out, and then it locks itself underneath. It turns out there's like an empty spot at the bottom of that fireplace, and it hides in there.
Now, how big is a snake, did you say? If you already said, I apologize if you already said.
I think I only used the word ginormous.
Yeah.
So it was like, I mean, it was like 6 feet long,
No,
and it was
okay.
like this fat.
Yeah, I'm good. Pass. Hard pass.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope.
It was.
No.
It's the biggest snake I've seen, and like the constrictor my stepdad owned was large too. But this guy, I was like, I can't believe this thing is in my house. I don't know how to get it out. I guess we don't use the sunroom anymore. Like,
Yeah. No, bomb it.
I don't know. I think we might have to move. Like,
Right, right.
You're going to have to call in a precision airstrike. UAV
Yeah.
to identify where the snake is.
exactly.
Those are Call of Duty references.
It is.
That'd be Snake Ops.
It would be snake ops.
Thank you.
There it is. Yeah. So I panicked and I went and I sat down and I was like, what do I do? And then I decided the only thing I could do is get my brother home. So I text him and I'm like, how important is your school day to you? And he was like, well, I mean, it's kind of important. It's my senior year. And I was like, I'm sorry, rephrase the question. How important is the rest of your day to you? Like, are your classes important? And he was like, they're gym classes. And I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. And he was like, oh, okay. So then he says he tells his teacher that there's a snake in the sunroom and he has to help his sister. And she literally helps him pack his bag and sends him on his way.
She understands.
Nice.
She's like, dear God, son, you got to
Yeah.
go.
Oh,
Yes.
go, yeah.
Yeah, so I bring him home, and then we're like, all right, how do we do this? And we both have our little guns, and we're trying to scare it back out from at least, like, where the fireplace is. So we're shooting the fireplace to try to get it to just come out so we can at least see it.
Right.
And then we realize it's not there anymore because I've driven away from the house and come back, right?
Oh, shit.
So it's somewhere else in the sunroom.
Oh, no.
So I was like, you know what? I think we have to call the professionals. So when we get in the phone book, well, the Google version of the phone book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
So we start Googling, and there's like wildlife. I can't remember the other ones. We were picking anything that was related to wildlife, snakes, agriculture in general. I mean, we were
Right.
willing to call anybody.
Right,
Sure.
Right.
So the wildlife people are like, we don't do snakes. Try Parks and Rec. And we were like, all right. So then we try them, and they're like, we don't do snakes. So then we call like the Pound, and I'm like, hey, I know you only do like fluffy things, but do you know who does do snakes? And they were like, yeah, the police. And I was like, the police don't do snakes. And they're like, yeah, you call the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office deals in snakes because no one else does. And I was like, I'm going to make this call, and when they tell me I'm stupid, I'm calling you back.
Right.
So I call the sheriff's office, and they're like, oh, yeah, we do snakes. So it turns out you call the popo if you get a snake.
Really?
Like a criminal.
Well,
like
that's
someone
like a-
breaks in your house, Or you get a snake, you call the police.
That's like an armed assailant, though, so I could understand that.
I guarantee every sheriff's officer hates you for this. By
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, they do.
Knows.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not everywhere else because that's not true if you live in the city. You
Right,
don't
sure.
call the sheriff's office.
Right.
I've asked
Right.
because then I had to know. I was like, is this just like a local
A
thing?
thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is. So I called the sheriff's office and they're like, all right, we'll send someone out. It'll be like somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes. And I was like, 5 and 15 minutes? I can panic for 5 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait. So then at this point, like Jared and I are like standing outside the house. We won't even go in the house. I know the door to the sunroom was locked and like, because it has 2 locks. We locked both.
Yeah.
Because what if he opened the door?
That's right. That's right. Grew
I
a
don't
hand.
trust these people, okay?
Grew a hand.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course.
Snakes are sketchy.
Yeah, they're crazy.
We don't trust them.
Yeah.
So we're standing outside, like in our driveway, like waiting for the sheriff, like watching. And then my neighbor, he was a nosy dude. He doesn't live there anymore, but he walked over and he's like, "What you doing?" We're like, "Oh, there's a snake in the sunroom." And he was like, "Oh, let me check it out." And then he goes in, and we were like from afar. I mean, like 2 car lengths
Yeah,
away.
absolutely.
Just
Yeah,
watching him
yeah.
walk in there.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
came back and he was like, "I think it's a rattlesnake." And we were like, yeah, we're pretty sure also. And he was like, "You let me walk in there." I was just going to try to bag it. I was like, "What are you thinking? You can't just bag a rattlesnake." Insane.
It's a 6-foot snake. What if it's named the big old pussy snake? It's a 6 feet. You're still not going
Yeah.
in there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's just
no.
not what you're gonna do.
I
right?
don't care. Like a
Yeah.
6-foot garden snake, still not doing it.
Amen, sister.
No, I don't like it.
Testify.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then the sheriff gets there and he comes out and he's like, "All right, where's the snake?" And I'm like, "Oh, he's in the sunroom." And then like the door that goes into the sunroom from the outside is oddly small. Like a lot of the pieces to our house were built different decades by different people.
Right.
Obviously all different sized people.
Right.
So it's a very small door. So he has to like go in sideways and he's like truffle shuffles into into the sunroom. And he's like, "I don't see the snakes." And he's like, "Come show me where the snake is."
Right.
So I'm like trying to use like a stick. I'm like, "It was there." And then I think it went over there.
I like the fact that you've lost track of a 6-foot snake. That's
Dude.
tough. That's tough.
It turned out it got scared.
The snake got
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah. And it put itself into like a tiny ball and was underneath like this like burlap bag that had all of our like our weed and feed stuff in it.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was under there. So he like gets it off and then he's using like what looked like little grabby hand
Yeah,
things
sure.
that like toddlers
Yes,
play with.
yes.
Yeah, so he's using one of those trying to get it and it's like hissing, like striking, and then like my brother's trying to like keep a shovel to like keep it away. This thing like bit my brother's boot, like thank God he had like steel toe boots.
Right.
Yeah, so then he jumped out and he was like, "You're on your own, buddy. Like you're getting
Yeah.
paid right now."
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
He finally gets it, puts it into like a little like burlap bag thing, takes it out, dumps it into this like large Tupperware tote thing.
Yeah.
And then literally looks at us and says, "The lid doesn't really lock anymore." And then just shuts the door to
That's
it.
awesome.
And Jared and I were like, "You have to like to drive away from our house. You go on like the bumpiest road that's ever existed. Like I haven't had a cup of coffee make it to the end of it.
Right.
And then over the train tracks." We were like, "You can't drive away like that. Like, do you
Yeah.
want a heavy object?" And he was like, "It'll be fine." And then he got in and just drove away. So we spent like the next month making sure we saw him at like a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Right. Right. He wasn't in a snake's belly. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, we were certain he was dead. But
Right.
like 2 weeks later, we did actually see him
That's
at a
cool.
traffic stop. And we were like, "Thank God he fucking lived."
Let me take this time to say thank God for law enforcement. I mean, because you know what I mean. People wonder why they get so mean and whatever. It's because they got to deal with shit like that. You know.
Meth
Yeah.
cats,
Yeah.
snakes.
Yeah.
Cats,
Yeah, you
yes.
remember meth cat?
Yeah.
It's insane what they deal with.
They deal with some weird stuff, and not just the people,
Right.
Yeah.
which is already a
Absolutely.
handful enough, I feel like.
Right?
They have someone that says, "Look, I've released a snake somewhere in the house."
Yes. I've been shooting it with Nerf guns for the last hour, so it's definitely pissed off. Can you help us?
Yes.
I think it was more than an hour.
I mean,
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah. Thank you for that. He said, "Thank you for that."
Yeah.
Do you want to shoot it a few more times to really piss it off?
Yeah.
Like go in there. That's
Yeah.
Here's my taser. Just have a ball.
Why
When
would
he
you-
sees this, he'll now understand why I was so angry. I never confessed to the Nerf bullet thing.
a 6-foot
Really?
rattler, huh?
Wow. He's
He
gonna watch
thinks
this
it might
all.
have been a bull snake.
Okay.
Oh,
I think
it's
he,
just a bull.
he
snake.
might have
Oh
been
my
telling
God.
himself that while putting it into the Tupperware.
Okay.
I didn't look. I didn't care. It was leaving my
Yeah.
house.
No, that's crazy. It's
Like,
not.
I guess maybe I should have thought about it because if it was a rattler, it could have had like a little den of babies somewhere on my property.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
I don't feel comfortable.
What do you think about that one?
I hate it.
You hate it?
I hate all of it. If I had a snake in my house, yeah, I'm gonna, I'll play tough for a little while, but no.
I have garden snakes in my yard.
Yeah.
I have concrete steps that go to my house.
Yeah,
And there's
they love to live there.
Yeah, yeah. And every summer this happens. As I'm mowing the lawn, one will jet in front of me, and I'll scream like a little girl. I'm 6'2", 340. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 4,000 times bigger than this thing.
They're scary.
They're not. Once I see as a gardener, it's fine.
They're scary.
You
But
don't know, though.
I
Yeah,
see
you
the
don't know.
movement, and I get all like this, and I do like my little high stepping thing to get away from. Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah.
High knees, high knees.
Yeah. So
What do you think of it?
I liked it. It's good, but I think that's true. But we're gonna get there here pretty quick. So
Oh.
I have. Do you have one in mind?
I do.
I do too.
Yeah, I definitely do.
I think I caught on something weird, and I might be wrong, but we'll see.
We will see.
Yeah,
We
trends,
will see.
trends, my friend, trends. So, Megan,
Yeah.
how we decide on how we got to pick is we rock paper scissors.
Sweet.
You're a 3-pumper.
No,
Indeed.
no. We haven't. Let's talk about this. Let's make a case. Why? Is 4 bad? Do you not like the number 4? Does it remind
Nothing
you of
against
snakes?
the number 4. Yeah, snakes are widely known as the number 4 animal.
What?
She was playing with
inaccurate.
me. Yeah, she was.
Oh,
That's called improv, Larry. She was yes-anding me.
I did.
yes, and I hated that.
Excellent improv.
Yes,
Yeah, that
thank
was
you.
good.
Thank you. Somewhat of a pro.
Natural.
No, it's 3, and he gets all sad.
No, because it's
I-
bullshit.
I did all the math last 2022, and 3-pumpers kicked their ass
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
more 3-pumpers.
because it's the right way.
Yeah,
certainly
I
know
really
that
feel like
There's
it
this-
is.
There's this bastard 4-pump way, and I don't understand it. It's some kind of weird cult.
Oh, yeah.
they're
The
in.
majority of the country always makes a lot of good decisions.
Oh, when he thought his was the majority, then.
No, the right way has to fight back. It's a revolution.
Do I need to bring some
It's a
tissues?
revolution.
It's a revolution of 4 pumps.
Dirty 4-pumpers.
Yep.
All right, we're doing 3 pumps, though.
Bullshit.
Ready?
Yeah. Suck it.
All right.
You can't hate it that hard.
So sad. So, okay, we got 3 stories. Call of Duty Snake Ops, Cabin Ghost, and Flushed in Sync. So, I think Call of Duty Snake Ops is true. A lot of detail in that. I liked it. Flushed in Sync, I think, is true. I just do. I'm picking Cabin Ghost for
I
one.
just do.
I just do.
I just do. Cabin
Excellent
Ghost
reasoning.
is the one, and the reason is I've noticed a trend. You did something. When somebody tries to reassure me that this is a true story or whatever, they say at the begin with, they'll say,
yes.
"This is a true one," or they'll say, "This is my favorite one," or they'll put that extra effort into it, and you didn't do it for the other 2, but you told me like, okay, this one's great.
Trickeration.
That's the reason I'm
yeah,
picking it.
trickeration.
Trickeration. Is that a word?
It is. Well, it's football. Chris Collinsworth, who he hates,
hate Chris
uses
Collinsworth.
that word all the time. They're adding a little bit of trickeration to the play.
Why you bring his name? Now?
I know. I just know it makes you mad. I'm sorry. I should have done that.
So I'm taking Cabin Ghost.
I know. I was letting the Collinsworth comment just simmer for a second, so you didn't stay angry.
It's simmered.
Letting it steep.
It's simmered. All right. I too share that assessment of Cabin Ghost. However, I don't want to pick the thing you picked just because I don't trust your reasoning.
Why didn't you pick it though? I mean, why didn't? What do you think's wrong with it?
Well, I honestly, I was originally going to say that was the lie, but when you picked it, I'm like, man, we can't always just pick the same one. That's not fun.
Go ahead.
We have to explore.
We have to explore.
That I still get a vibe from Flushed in Sync. That the key's probably flushed, but other things maybe didn't happen. And that was my original gut reaction when she told the story. And then Cabin Ghost happened. I was like, the other problem I have, and I've said this so many times on the show, is when a story is really good and I want it to be true, it usually isn't.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty Snake Ops is the one I want to be true the most. So I'm going to go out of left field. Call of Duty Snake Ops is the Bullhucker.
See, I think that's got so much detail, and just the way she told it, I think that one's true. But before we flip that over, if you like what you saw today, on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, the little red button, that's our subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe to the podcast, and let you know every Tuesday when we have new episodes come out. Support the podcast because it's a
Small click for you, but a fucking big old clip for us.
he's got it right. I'm so happy right now. This brings me such
I
enjoyment
even
right
peaked
now.
the whole microphone thing too. I was just trying to feel the energy from it.
I can't wait till I see my dreamy Matt Orcutt and I get to share this moment with him. Oh,
There it is.
such a dick. All right. Okay, so Call of Duty, I'm going Cabin Ghost. Let's see it.
Are you ready? Let me make sure it's facing the right way. Okay.
Cabin ghost. What part of that's not true?
It actually, the entire thing is true, but it happened with my mom, not Matt.
Oh, really?
A light facade.
You're with your mom, or it was your mom
light
and your
facade.
dad?
My mom and my dad were there, and I was actually only 9, not an adult.
Oh. Is that your first experience with something like that?
No. My first one, I was 6, and it was actually my grandpa came to me before he died.
Oh, interesting.
And I started renting library books about how to deal with your grandparents' death, which really freaked out my aunt because it was her brother.
Right.
So she was like, he's not dying, he's just in the hospital. And I was like,
Right.
no, he came to me, we were playing piano together, and he told me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So that
this
was my
is-
first one, then just continued on from there.
Interesting.
So that's going to be a good lead into what we're going to talk about next.
The holistic fair
Right.
happening at the Block on the 18th of February.
What time does it
Yes.
start? We didn't go with that. You're going to put that in with Megan.
It starts at 10,
10 o'clock and goes to
6.
10
It's like
to
an
6.
8-hour thing.
10 a.m.? Oh, I don't.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
just checking.
Yeah, not a midnight fair.
No, I didn't know.
No.
Well, a lot of this stuff would make sense overnight, I would say.
Madeline kind of went over what
There
she
could be
was
a fun
doing
thing.
with her stuff. And by the way, if you want to check this out, in the description below, they'll have links to all this on the podcast, bullhucker.com website. Look under where it says, as seen on the Bullhucker, we'll have links to all that stuff. Matt's going to put it out on all the Chamber of Commerce stuff, yes?
Yes, the chamber thingies.
The
Okay.
chamber thingies.
Not the park thingy, though. 'cause
No,
that's-
not the park thingy. Not the park thingy and the podcast thingy.
So you can check that all on the website. We're going to try and push this. I think it's pretty cool what you guys are doing.
Agreed.
Madeline kind of told us what she's going to be doing there. What are you going to be doing?
I'm actually going to be doing readings, but I'll also have a booth. So I'll have a booth running that's selling all of the things that I make, which
Right.
is like I do hand-carved runes, my journals, my grimoires, that kind of thing. I'm hoping to have maybe a couple of the mead books out by then, but I mean,
Cool.
it just depends on how fast I can bind them.
Very cool.
How long does it take you to make mead?
It depends on how you want it to taste. So like you can do like a young mead where it just sits for a couple weeks, or you can let it go for a lot longer. If you want like
Okay.
an aged mead, like an old mead. So it gets like, it's kind of like wine. Like the younger the mead, the sweeter, the older the mead, you get closer to like a Merlot kind of like bitter thing.
What
Interesting.
What do most people like?
I think young mead. I've noticed that
It's
young
more
mead
popular.
sells a lot better just from like the meadery I see at the Renaissance Festival I go to.
Okay.
Which is like my primary judgment. Their sweet meads sell way better.
Really?
Yeah, like fruity meads, like an elderberry mead. That one's really good.
What kind of alcohol content is it? I've never had mead. It's the one liquor I've never tried.
We haven't tested it for alcohol content yet, so
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay. There's not like a standard at all?
No, I mean, like a lot of them aim for like a 12%, I think, to be competitive with wine, but like you can
Right.
also get them as low as like 6%, closer to like an average beer.
Who wants that? Where's
Yeah.
the fun in that?
I don't even know.
Runes. How do you make the runes? I mean, is it like how many different kind of runes are there? Or is it limitless?
You can do it with anything. So you can put it in like, I mean, they originally were in bone, so you can still do bone, like an animal bone or something like
Right.
that, obviously, unless you have like, some humans laying around or something.
Yeah, you know.
He does.
You have
To
all
each their own, right?
Most certainly does have a few skeletons in his closet.
in the trunk. Yeah.
In the trunk,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The hookers. You
In
can make
his-
hooker
I
runes.
was. Wait a second. We were just.
Those would sell. Whatever. Those would sell, dude.
The trunk is your ass in this connection, right? And you just said dead people were in your ass.
Oh, no.
Matt Orcutt. Can you believe he talks to me like this, Matt? Some bitch.
You said it.
But ruins. I mean, I'm just trying to understand because I don't know anything about ruins.
No, yeah,
I
that's
know
fine.
basically what they are. From
Runes.
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 I think you said ruins.
Runes.
Runes.
Okay, my bad. Just making sure. I'm trying to stay sane over here. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I just am trying to ask. Such an asshole to me.
How does it work with the runes? How do you read them? Is it like where you put them in a
Like, roll 'em
package
out.
and roll them and then?
There's a couple ways. So some
Okay.
people like to reach in and like pull out whatever runes kind of speak to them and then they lay them out. I like to kind of cast them out and then see what ends up in my little center circle that's on this mat that I have, and then I'll read the ones that are facing up there.
Have you ever had one? Have you ever read someone's runes that freaked you out?
No, not really, actually.
No.
Not with runes. No, they're more like blunt assholes. So like they will just tell you really like rough truths about yourself. So I've had some that upset other people, but like
Sure.
I'm also kind of a blunt person. So
Did
they
you-
usually don't hurt my feelings. I mean, I'm married to Matt.
Was it? If you knew Orcutt, that's understood. So you've given out some pretty bad news then.
Yeah, more like about themselves. So it really talks about you as a person, less
Oh,
about
I
like your
see.
future or
Oh, I
anything
see.
like that. So, you can be like, oh, what is happening with this thing? And it'll be like, oh, well, I mean, if you weren't so self-centered and stuck on yourself, maybe that would be
Wow.
okay. Like, So
That's pretty
I think I'm
interesting.
You know?
more afraid of that than I am the snakes. Like I don't want. I don't
Taking a
wanna
look
know.
at yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
How accurate do you think they are, in your honest opinion?
they've been pretty accurate for me so
Right.
far. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And what else do you say you do?
I also do the tarot readings. Those are a
Okay.
lot softer.
Sure.
They tell more of a story as opposed to just like blunt advice. So
Right.
those
Right.
like I like tarot reading, and then I also do pendulums. So those are more of like a yes or no question.
How does that work? You like hold it?
Yeah, you literally like hold it up, and then it'll swing like yes or no, like a head nodding, like yes. No.
So if you and I were doing it, I'd ask you questions that I want to know and they would answer them. Is that kind of okay? All right.
Yep,
What do you think about that one?
I really like that one just because
Okay.
it's direct, so it's less confusing for the person that you're reading for. Like,
Right.
you know,
So they have to be very careful how they craft their question.
yes, yeah. So it has to be a yes or no. If you leave it ambiguous, it just kind of goes in a circle until you figure out how to ask it better.
I gotcha.
You wouldn't happen to have a pendulum on you right now, would you?
I mean, this is kind of a pendulum.
Would you feel comfortable? We can cut it out, but would you feel comfortable
try,
trying it,
yeah.
testing it out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's give her a shot, man.
I like this.
While you're doing that, what's your favorite thing to do? What do you enjoy the most?
Out of everything that I do, like business wise,
Yes. Out of, the stuff that you're going to do at the fair, what do you like? What do you enjoy the most?
man, that's a hard one because they each have such a different thing. I really enjoy tarot though. Like,
Okay.
out of all the readings,
All right.
I do. I enjoy that. It goes a little more in depth. Like it's kind of more of a conversation starter, and I like to talk, so that works really well for me.
What are you strongest at? Do you feel?
Oh, and that's hard.
Okay.
That's hard. I have like, like I'm good at them, but I also have setbacks in each of them too.
Sure.
Sure.
So
I,
it's all like a learning experience. I mean, every time you do a reading, you learn a touch more.
maybe
So-
I should ask the
Okay.
question: what are you most confident doing?
Ooh, I'm most confident in tarot.
Tarot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, pendulums also, just because they're incredibly simple.
Right.
It's kind of like, are you more comfortable spelling words or doing the alphabet? And you're like, well, obviously the alphabet.
Right.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So pendulums are the easiest because.
So-
Do you have any yes or no questions?
What do you need from us?
Yeah,
Do
what
you
Nothing.
need like a
Just
you
ask
can just do it
questions?
right there. Do you
Yeah.
need to use that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a
Matt,
question?
knock it out. You're the
I have a
only one
question.
that-
Am I on the right career path?
Don't we have to do a yes and no or no?
That is a yes or no, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, write it on there.
See how it's going super strong?
Yeah.
Does that mean yes?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the harder it swings, the more of a yes you're getting.
Is Larry an asshole?
I'll stop it.
Is Larry an asshole?
I hate to see this swing.
It was unsure for a minute. Did you see that?
What's that?
It was unsure. It was spinning in a circle.
Like a circle for a minute.
But now it's like, yeah, he is a
Yeah.
bit of an asshole.
It's giving you a soft yes, though.
Okay,
So
all right.
it thinks
You're
like
just a soft asshole.
You know what? I'll take it, bro. I'll take it. I can find people to argue that.
That was
though.
awesome. You have any questions?
I can't think of one.
Try
offhand.
one. Try something. Like anything you can think of.
Am I Matt's hero?
There it is.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Swing, 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 swing.
It's gonna be no, like so quick. Yeah, look at that.
Oh shit, that's humbling.
That is awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna throw. Can we do one more?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Is the Brush Emporium going to be successful?
Oh,
you watch this, Garrett?
it's a good one.
Okay,
A good
all right,
question.
All right.
Here we go. All right.
So we don't have dead air. I'm going to go and start talking there. So
That's a yes.
yeah.
Wait. Oh,
Oh,
spinning
it's
a little bit.
question,
It's thinking.
Question, it's question. It's.
all right.
Ooh. It's pretty sure it's a yes,
Yeah.
but it's still ambiguous. There's something more
Okay.
It's
that
almost
has to
like
be decided before it can answer.
The work needs to be
yeah, it
completed.
needs to be
I think
completed.
yeah.
so. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
All right. And if we curse that, it's on me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's his fault. Sorry, Gilbert.
I'll
He
sell
did
the thing
this.
I own and
Yep.
hook you up. So, yeah, this is
That was
another
cool.
fun
That was
one.
cool because
Yeah.
it gave
Yeah.
you all three options. It
Yeah.
gave you a maybe, a yes, and a no all at once.
That was fun.
Do you have a special route or a special one you use?
I do. This one I like to wear, and I use it for like on the spot readings. But I actually have a really pretty black one that has like this like brass colored flowers that go down it.
Do you make those yourself, or is that something you purchase, or is
No, I just I sell them, so I buy them and then I just put them onto a necklace, and then I sell them as either a necklace or a pendulum, depending on how witchy the person that is
Sure.
looking at buying it
Yeah.
is.
that right? Huh.
So yeah, but I do. I sell them in
cool.
my booth also. So
And
pendulums, runes, journals.
and the journals.
Yeah, my kid makes masks also and sells them to the kids that come to the festivals.
Oh,
Awesome.
very nice.
Yeah,
Well,
they're like Jason masks, and he spray paints them.
oh, very cool.
Dig it.
Yeah.
That's cool. And that'll all be here at the Holistic Fair on
Yes.
the 15th or the 18th.
18th.
of February.
18th.
At the
Yep.
block.
Very
from
cool.
10 to
18th
6.
The block.
This is back-to-back weeks of some pretty fun stuff.
Yeah, this I love when I always say this on the podcast every single week. It's been weeks since I've said it since then.
You said it last week with Madeline.
I know. I just love
Last time we saw her.
I love meeting people from different walks of life and learning
Yes.
about what they do and stories, and it's
Yes.
just so much fun. I think I get siloed. I have all my own preconceived notions and my own beliefs, and something that this podcast definitely given me an opportunity to do is not just challenge it, but learn about what other people think around me. And just you never know till you ask, right?
Yeah, everyone's beliefs are interesting.
Yeah.
They really are, and that's one thing I'm really going to aim at 2023 is getting diversity on this podcast.
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, just all walks of life, because you don't. With you and Madeline, this has been very interesting to me because it's something I don't know a lot about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's stuff you hear about, it's stuff you kind of half-ass know. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's been fun to actually get to sit down and ask people questions about it. And kind of see and this whole supernatural aspect of it. Like you're very sensitive to it too, right?
Yes.
And when's the last time you saw something?
I see it at my house all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, my house
Yeah.
is just chock full.
A lot of activity. Yeah, Matt's actually told me that too. Does he see it or no?
I don't know if he sees it, but I know he hears it.
Okay.
So he hears
Okay.
things talk to him sometimes. And
But see, it's stuff like that.
Has
I love.
experiences, yeah.
So fun. It's so fun to and it's awesome. If you want to come check out the podcast, by the way, there is a contact form on the bullhucker.com. Get a hold of me. Last night we had the Chamber of Commerce, and I had a few people actually approach me and tell me they were interested in doing it. So
Good. That's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So it's been so much fun. Megan, thank you so much for coming on.
It was
oh
a
yeah,
pleasure.
thank you.
Did you have a good
fun.
time?
I did have a good time.
Were you nervous?
A little bit.
See, that's the thing. It's people to get people out of their comfort zone is the toughest part about this, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's podcast. Not many people have done podcasts, and
Right.
it's sort of new, but I think you create a warm and welcoming atmosphere. I'll compliment you and mean it. It makes it easy to talk to people, and it's good.
I got a compliment.
Yeah, no,
You
never
did.
again.
You want to know why?
What?
No offense. That was bullshit. I am his hero. Okay. Little Stone was wrong.
Hold up, let me
okay?
read your palm again.
Little Stone was wrong.
Let me read that palm again, dude.
Okay. Hey, but once again, thank you, Megan, so much for coming on.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm Maddie G.
We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.